Yeah, and I mean, like, screw Boston Pizza.
Stick talk. 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 Stick talk.
And
Hockey.
Yes, sir.
Welcome back, everyone. This is episode 69 of Stick Talk Hockey.
Nice.
Very nice. As always, I'm your host, Tico. This is my co-host.
I'm yours truly.
And the finals are set.
Woof. About time.
Yeah, it's felt like a long playoff, hasn't it?
When you're covering sports, the playoffs go by much slower than they usually do.
Yeah, I mean, the schedule is going to get crazy here. Like, if it goes 7, the finals will end on June 24th, which is, like, really late. That's incredibly late. And then, like, you jump in 4 days later, the draft is the 28th and the 29th, and then 2 days after that is going to be free agency on July 1st. Like, it's packed.
Yeah, it's like, what, a 2-week final?
Yeah.
Plus? Like 16 days?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah,
My
I mean,
God.
it is the longest distance between two teams in a playoff series in North American pro sports history, which is wild. I mean, the two opposite sides of the continent.
That is really, really wild, honestly.
Yeah.
The only thing that would have made it more of a cumbersome travel is if Vancouver made it.
Yeah, for real.
Like, yeesh.
Longest previously was Vancouver with Boston in 2011. So,
oh, there you go.
Breaking that. Yeah. I mean, I guess we should go into the past part of that first. The Edmonton Oilers take down Dallas in 6 and once again prove a lot of people wrong.
Me
as well. Yeah, I'll eat it.
I mean, yeah, I don't even know what to say about Edmonton. They proved me wrong, but not by much.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really bizarre series, right? I mean, like, who would have thought of all the things that would make Edmonton win a series, who would have thought it was like the penalty kill?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
or Stuart Skinner, too, for that matter. Like,
yeah.
That guy stood on his head.
Yeah, he played great. And, I mean, no moment more glaring than Game 6 last night where they were outshot. What was it, 28-10 final?
I thought it was 35-10.
35-10? Yeah, I mean, it was ridiculous.
It's the lowest shooting or lowest shot total for a team that advanced to the finals.
Yeah, lowest shot total, tied for the lowest shot total in a playoff win ever.
They were 7 under for the advance too.
That's wild.
Yeah,
that's wild.
Lowest number of shots previous was 17 for a team advancing to a final.
It's crazy. And I mean, lowest shot total ever in a win was 10. In a playoff win was 10 by the Devils in 90, I believe. We just went over this because the Canucks, right? They won a game with 12 in the first round there against Nashville, and then Edmonton says, anything you can do, I can do better.
It's been such a weird playoff. Like,
yeah.
Again, it's just been such a complete picture. You have such stingy games. You have, 6-2, 7-2 finals. Like,
yeah,
we've really been everywhere and back.
Truly, and I mean, that's a bit of a statement game for Edmonton where that was the first time this season they haven't scored 3+ goals at home. And they squeak out a win like that. I mean, it's not the way you think of Edmonton winning hockey games.
And it's nice to see that Edmonton actually has the ability to hold on to a 1-goal lead. It's not something I want to see them get comfortable doing. It's not something I want to see any team practice long term, but it is something you need to have in your core identity to go all the way.
For sure. I agree with that. But yeah, I mean, they can't have a single other game that looks like that one.
No.
It's honestly, I mean, I don't mean to take anything away from them, but it's a miracle that they won last night.
I mean that there's a couple posts that they have to say some mighty fine thanks to.
Yeah, I mean, they got caved in territorially and possessionally for 40 minutes, the last 40 minutes of the game. I couldn't believe my eyes. I thought for sure Dallas was going to tie that game. And they're going home. I mean, one of the Cup favorites this year, my Cup favorite, and it's crazy. That's crazy to see. Edmonton's going to the finals for the first time since 2006. First Canadian team in the finals since I mean, like, you can say Montreal, but, like, really since Vancouver in 2011? Because, I mean,
Bubble.
what was Montreal doing there?
And it was the bubble. Do we really even, like, come on now.
No.
We don't count that.
No, we absolutely do not count that. Yeah, Joe Pavelski.
What a career.
That's, what a career indeed. It's going to be a real shame if that's how this ends for him.
I have such a mixed feeling on players doing the one more year thing.
Yeah.
He still has it.
That's the thing, right? It's not like, sometimes you get to the end of a career and the players are still going for one more. I think of like a Ginla, even like Thornton, Patrick Marleau, and you bring yourself to believe, well, they're such strong locker room guys, they're such these leadership guys, but they don't really bring it on the ice at all anymore. Pavelski, I mean, his point totals weren't crazy, but he was bringing it out there.
Yeah, and he was doing his job. Like, at the end of the day, like, he got bumped from the fourth line to the first.
Yeah.
Which is pretty remarkable in any standard, never mind a do-or-die Game 6.
For sure.
So, if that is the way that he goes out, then, that's nothing to, slump on.
No. What a career for Joe Pavelski.
But, again, another amazing player.
Mm-hmm.
Another Canadian icon.
American.
He's Canadian, right?
American.
Oh,
yeah.
Never mind.
One of the greatest players in American history,
Still,
though, you got to think.
Just another great player that hasn't won the cup.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Makes you realize how old you're getting when all the people you grew up watching, you're like, for sure they'll get a cup. For sure they'll get a cup.
Yeah.
It's just time.
100%. And, I mean, that's where you start to think, like, is Edmonton going to get another shot like this? Like, if we want to see McDavid win that cup.
Isn't he due for a re-sign in the next 3?
Yeah.
And Draisaitl's due for
After
a
next year.
re-sign after, they got to make some tough decisions. I mean, they're not far off the Toronto boat.
No.
I know they still have a series to play, and we're already having post-season talks.
Yeah.
But this might be one of those do or die moments where you kind of look down the room and go, "How many of you are going to be left?"
Yeah. Yeah.
I know I'm good. I know he's good. But like, we got 4 key defensemen here that are old as hell or expiring.
100%. They're going to be in for some tough talks, and you're right. That's a little preemptive here, but right now, obviously, everyone in Edmonton is just focusing on the next 7 games. It's going to be a riot.
Yeah. I mean, not quite the riot we're used to in Canada. I hope. One could hope.
I mean, we'll see.
We'll see. I mean, true.
Well, we'll see. I mean, I don't know.
These are the same people that threatened to leave Canada over an election.
Well, so let's get into Canada's team real quick.
You want to get into the Wexit?
Yeah, I kind of want to get into it. How do you feel about the concept of Canada's team as a whole? Because Boston Pizza put out that pretty controversial ad, right? That's got the whole bring everyone together for Canada's team. Boston Pizza is a Canadian chain out here, and then they took it even further by having people in the stands, right? They put the green men in the stands, not the real ones, but Fugazi green men, and the Leafs dark guy in the stands.
Fugazi dark guy.
And there's this ongoing, theme of Canada's team that happens every time a Canadian team gets close to the cup, because it's been 30 years since we've won. Do you buy into that? Do you feel national pride for Canada's team?
Christ, I cheer for the Devils. Christ, no.
Yeah.
God, no.
Yeah.
I feel no sense of accomplishment or pride when a Canadian team comes remotely close to a cup.
See, that's how I feel as well. Like, as far as I'm concerned, the only Canada's team is Team Canada, right? When you get to the World Juniors or the Olympics or the World Cup of Hockey, whatever it is, that's when you can put a whole country behind a team. When it comes to this, it's like, oh, well, they have a lot of Canadians. Yeah, it's hockey.
Everyone does.
They all got a lot of Canadians. Like, and it's not even just the players, right? When you look at, like, because I remember people were talking about it with Colorado a few years ago, right? Oh, well, they have all these Canadian players. And it's like, yeah, it's not even just the players. Like, their coach is Canadian. Their assistant coaches are Canadian. The general manager is Canadian. The president of hockey operations is Canadian.
We're everywhere.
It's hockey. What do you want me to say?
Yeah. And I mean, like, screw Boston Pizza.
Yeah,
lousy food, worst food I've ever had. It's all pre-made. It comes in bags. They microwave it before it comes to your table. Like, well, let's not even get into that.
Boston Pizza's horrendous. I mean, if anyone has ever worked for Boston Pizza, like, they'll know, or especially Boston Pizza corporate, they'll know what the profit margins are there. And if you know what restaurant profit margins are supposed to be versus what Boston Pizza's is, you'll realize why the food is so bad.
Yeah, and so damn salty.
Yeah, it's horrendous.
It's to hide everything else.
So Boston Pizza, they can take off. I was happy with you in 2011 when you renamed everything Vancouver Pizza. I was cool with that. Now you've gone too far.
It's just so pandery.
It is, 100% it is. It reminds me of Tim Hortons just, like, putting out the worst things imaginable and being like, but you'll buy it because you're Canadian.
Are you even Canadian without a Tim's before hockey?
I hate it. I despise it. Don't prey on me.
Yeah, like my national identity has to do with your capitalist gains. Please. Spare me.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, look, I'm not saying that it wouldn't be cool to see a Canadian team win, and I wouldn't love to see McDavid hold up a Stanley Cup. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying I refuse to cheer for any team just because they're located in Canada when, like, that doesn't really make a team much more Canadian to begin with.
No.
In my eyes, you know what I mean?
No, and I mean, if you wanted to really get into it and go by, like, player and roster makeup, like, sure, Edmonton's probably the most Canadian team we've had in the finals since the expansion era.
Sure. Yeah.
Safe to say.
Yeah.
But who cares? Who cares? Literally, who cares?
Yeah, I mean, the Cup lives in Canada, in Toronto anyways.
I was just about to go there. I was like, even if a team in the States wins it and it takes a trip down there for a few months for their victory tour, they don't keep it in their building all year. It comes back up to Montreal.
Yeah.
To Quebec.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Like, this is not just even for the Canadians that, like, are on this bandwagon, but for the Americans that love to rub in that it's been 35 years. It's like, I couldn't care less. It doesn't mean anything that a Canadian team located in Vegas won a Stanley Cup. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I mean, like, to sum it up perfectly, the most Canadian experience I had today was a Flames fan walking past me at the end of work and going, the Oilers, let's go let's go Florida. And I was like,
yeah, that's Canadian there. That's Canadian. If you're, like, a real fan of a Canadian team, like, let's be real, you don't want to see Edmonton win the Cup first.
God, no. The petty is real, the air is real, I trust my ex for a feature.
Yeah, 100%. Like, you want your team to be that team that wins that cup and breaks that drought. And, like, it's weird because we've talked a bit about like the Vancouver and Toronto differences, right? The West Coast and the East Coast. But I actually feel it less with Ontario in terms of, like, it makes me not want to cheer for Toronto and Ottawa and because of our, like, cultural differences or whatever.
Yeah.
I feel that much more with Alberta.
Oh, for sure.
Like,
okay, listen.
I got beef with Alberta.
for the Americans listening who might not understand, like, we define America as, like, 50 small countries in one big one. Because every time you cross a border, it's kind of different.
Yeah.
And everyone
100%.
talks a little different, dresses a little different.
Yep.
Everything changes.
Food's a little different, all of it. Yeah, culturally very different.
Canada's more like you got 3 subsections. You got, like, the West Coast, and then you got, like, Canada, Texas.
Yeah.
And then the East Coast.
Well, maybe make it 4 because we got those Frenchies as well.
I just count them in the East Coast.
Yeah,
everything about them is East except their language.
Yeah.
Except their voulez-vous coucher and their whatever the fuck. Their bonjours and croissants. Like, it's still East Coast mentality. It's very go, go, go.
Sure.
You know? Like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Alberta's definitely our our little slice of Texas we got up here, and it makes it tough for me to want them to win anything. Like, really.
I just don't want to see double lifted trucks with like the biggest possible rims flying a 32 by 32 Oilers flag down my streets for the next month. I'm good.
Yeah. Let's go over to the Rangers and Florida because we didn't go through that one.
Oh, I'm ready. What a Saturday.
Oh, the Stick Talk Hater Pod is feeling good. Feeling good today. Feeling good this week.
Like, what a great succession of events.
Yeah. After the removal of the New York Rangers from Stanley Cup contention, I got a text from Jonesy right away saying I'm going to sleep like a baby tonight.
Didn't we all?
Didn't we all? It was a beautiful thing. Florida just they played better the entire time.
Nothing made me more satisfied than just watching the Rangers fall apart and whine and just having this tough guy bravado that they carried around so proudly for 3 series in a row just melt away as their true colors came flooding out.
Yeah. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful thing. I mean, that series, like, let's be real, right? It should have been a sweep without Shesterkin in net.
And
Shesterkin played unbelievable the entire series.
Oh, he was their life preserver. Yeah. Their head was dipping below water without that guy in net. Yeah. He fully changed the offseason conversation to, what do you want to get paid?
Yeah.
It's no longer, here's what we're willing to pay. It's, what do you want?
Oh, yeah, he's getting a blank check for sure.
Yeah, it's done.
They're going to waste the career of 2 straight superstar goaltenders.
Yep. Hall of Fame.
Tragic.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
sorry, Hank.
I wanted to see Henrik get one. I really did. I don't want to see Shesterkin get one because of the Rangers. I'm sorry. Trouba, the flying elbow connoisseur himself.
Wingstop.
You know, we talk about can you win a cup with Jamie Benn as a captain? We've talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
Can you win a cup with Jacob Trouba as a captain?
Christ, no.
I think that may be the case.
He was like one of the most penalized players in the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. I mean, Florida just has such a business-like approach to this right now. It's been out of this world. And, I mean, Barkov, head-to-head against the 3 best players in each series so far, has had 0 goals against. It's an unbelievable stat.
That's insane. In like an hour and a half plus of ice time, too. Yeah. That's nuts.
I mean, someone called him the most complete player in hockey, and that might not be a lie.
I heard Friedge throwing around Bergeron comparisons, and I didn't get offended.
No.
This might be the first time I've heard a Bergeron comparison that I didn't go, well, come on now. Yeah. What are we doing?
Him and Kopitar are the only 2 that I've ever been like, okay, I see where you're going.
Yeah, and Kopitar, even then, I'm still like,
not quite.
Yeah, you're close. You're close, but not quite, you know?
No, I mean, they've just been, they've been unbelievable, and it feels to me like when I say they've been business-like, like they just have a much cooler head, but without losing the edge.
It's picking your spots.
Yeah.
You don't have to be active in every whistle between plays, but you have to know which ones are essential to send the message.
Yeah.
And I think that shows with Tkachuk as well, because he's been not as active, but also more productive.
Yeah, 100%.
And he's been more active when it matters.
Right.
And the score doesn't count between whistles. You aren't going to score.
Yeah, 100%.
But he's laying the body out in the same way that he would have last year in between whistles during the play.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the way that he just shut down Trocheck.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he was whining by the end of that series.
He was.
And it made me happy.
Yeah, I know.
Hell of a complete player. I love Trocheck's game, but
Sure.
God, he is like a top level.
Yeah. It was quite the series to watch. I mean, as much as I thought it was going to be closer than it actually ended up feeling.
Yes and no.
Yeah.
What how do you mean?
I don't know. Like, I felt like Florida by the end of the series to me seemed like just so clearly the superior team.
Yes.
And I didn't really expect to feel that way.
Fair.
I thought it was going to be close.
I kind of did expect that feeling, but I did expect 7.
Yeah.
But I thought that it was going to be a much shorter feeling 7 than it should have been.
Yeah.
So this is pretty on brand.
Tough that we didn't get a single game 7. Would have been nice to see.
I was saying that. I really wanted the Stars at least to win 6 so we could have seen a conference final 7.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, shout out to you know what was great to see, though? That Edmonton crowd last night. Sending them off to the finals. They were charged up.
And rightfully so.
Yeah.
I mean,
I love seeing a series win on home ice.
when was the last time that Edmonton made the finals? Was that when they were playing Carolina?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that at the end of the series, like, you really just looked at it and you went, like, New York is close.
Yeah.
But New York hasn't solved all their issues.
Sure. I agree with that.
And we kind of predicted that going in. I
Yeah.
mean, Barclay Goodrow was their most productive bottom 6 player.
Yeah.
It's not the guy we had circled on our list. It's much like the Canes last year when Martinook was their most effective player. And it's like, okay, great, but, like, what else?
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Okay. So going forward now, Florida and Edmonton in the finals. First off, do you think the finals experience matters that Florida has from being there last year?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's no way it doesn't.
Mm.
Like, look at the last 10 years.
Yep.
With repeat champions or teams that have either made it to the finals and then broke through.
Yeah.
You got the Capitals.
Yep.
And
Nope.
well, they didn't make the finals, but they did break through.
Yeah.
After, like, being on the door of the conference finals for years and years and years.
Mm-hmm.
Tampa, Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
There's one more in there too.
Vegas.
Thank you. Yeah, all teams that have been there, smelt it.
Right.
Like, really smelt it. They were in the kitchen. The cake was baking.
Yeah.
It's not like they were just walking past the bakery and were like, yeah, cake could be a good idea.
Yeah.
They were in there watching it be made. They know what's up.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know how the cake is made.
Yeah, because, I mean, there's a common saying in the NHL that it's split into 4 seasons, right? You have the preseason, the regular season, the playoffs, and the finals. It's a different beast altogether, right?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's why we see, you know, the finals reveal all, because it's different once you're there. What it takes to win is different once you're there. A hot run will end in the finals. A hot goalie run, things like that, it doesn't last through the finals. So, I mean, I agree. I think the finals experience does matter, and I think that's a huge edge for Florida, especially coming off it being just last year, where it's pretty much the same team, sans a couple people.
Yeah, I think that's also just, like, you can't sleep on that enough. Like, when you look at all these teams that made it to the final and then came back either the next year or the year prior, there wasn't too much turnover.
Yeah.
Like, those lessons were learned and carried. It's not like they were learned and then they had this big departure.
Right.
Like you see with the Penguins, for example, when they had their second or third cup. They had to
It was very different from the first one.
Exactly. And, you know, then you're like, okay, the finals experience is there, but it's not quite there.
Right.
Like,
I think it still counts for them because, like, the core was still the same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it was still Crosby, Malkin, Letang.
And if that much of a difference is made just with your core being there, take the whole team.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt.
And your goalie. I mean,
yeah, I agree. I mean, like I said, the finals, they reveal everything. We talked about that last year in the finals, and I still, as much as, like, my gut does kind of feel like, okay, Edmonton, finally the Canadian team, Connor McDavid, yada yada. They still have holes for me that Florida doesn't have, which is how I felt about the Dallas series as well. But like I said, it's the finals. It's different.
Yeah, and I mean, Edmonton needs their best players to be their best players, and their not best players to be their best players, whereas Florida just needs to be Florida.
They
just need to be themselves.
Yeah.
You know, Edmonton, I look at their team and I go, this is a team that needs X, Y, Z, as well as A, J and F
Sure.
to go right.
Sure.
Florida, it's like you've already ticked the list. You're there. You just have to stay true to your game plan and listen to your goddamn coach.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. It's going to be crazy. I cannot wait to see the madness that unfolds over the next couple of weeks here between these two teams, and teams that couldn't be more different, just like culturally, historically as well.
The way front office works.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. My biggest question is, do you think that we're going to see a slow start from Connor McDavid, considering it's his first finals appearance? Is there going to be that 1-2 game pause?
I don't think so. I don't know. I feel like part of the reason the Oilers are here is because he's gotten to not be the superstar at all times. Like, I think that in years past, him and Draisaitl have put the entire weight of the world on their shoulders, the entire load on their shoulders, and they're burnt out by now. And you look at some of the games in the Vancouver series as well, where he was left off the scoreboard and they found ways to win. And I think that I would say yes, but Game 6 last night proved me wrong. That was his best game, I thought, of the playoffs. At least in those first 20 minutes, the best goal he scored in these playoffs.
Oh,
in the biggest moment of the playoffs.
Might have been the best goal he's scored in 5 years.
I think he's Showtime ready.
Yeah, that's fair. I wouldn't be shocked if there was at least a 1-game hangover.
Yeah.
Just because, like you said, the finals is such a beast.
Yeah, it's different.
Like, there are vets that just say, like, hey, man, enjoy it, because you're going to blink and it'll be over.
Right.
Like, life goes fast for these guys.
Yeah, 100% it does.
So.
Yeah, I hear you on that. I just think that he's been prepping for this since way before this season even started. I think he's Showtime ready. I'd be more concerned about if Draisaitl can keep his head together.
Or Hopkins.
Yeah, I think Nuge has more cool in his game. Draisaitl, I think so. Then Draisaitl gets a hot head.
He does get hot. He gets fiery. I don't know why, but I've really lost my taste for Draisaitl this year.
Me too, and part of it is that for me, and like he does get a hot head, and against this Florida team that loves to pick at that, I'd be a little bit concerned about how that's going to play out.
Do you just mean like he's going to take some undisciplined penalties?
Yeah. I think mostly like that. Like he going to take, probably some sort of undisciplined penalties at inopportune times. And, also just like letting stuff get to him.
I was going to go there. I was going to say, I think more than anything, if it's not the penalties and retaliation that takes him straight out of the game, it's going to be himself.
Yeah.
He's going to just pick himself apart until he's completely miserable, muttering to himself on the end of the bench, and it's going to kill the team's momentum.
Yeah, I mean, he's always been a player that's kind of had that, which, like, in a way that works for him, right? Where he kind of gets under your skin, you get under his, he yaps about it, he scores 38 goals in 7 minutes or something ridiculous. But I don't know. Like I said, the finals are just a different beast, so we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, no, fair enough. Where are we jumping from there?
I mean, should we do predictions?
Yeah, I guess so. What do you got?
I'm gonna give Edmonton some respect here. My feeling is to say Florida in 6, but after watching that game last night, I don't think that Edmonton loses Game 6 at home, because Florida will have home ice advantage. So I think I'm going to take Florida in 7.
Full series.
Yeah, a full series.
I like it. I'm going to listen to my heart here,
not
the brain. And also just to be different. It's a podcast. We need to be a little interesting. God.
Of course.
I'm going to take Florida in an upsetting 5.
Ooh, Florida in 5.
With controversy. I don't know what kind.
But some kind. I love it.
I don't know what, but I just have that feeling like this
Yeah.
series is going to be a debacle in one way or another.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jay?
Yeah, let's see what you got.
I'm honestly a big fan of what Trill just said. I feel like the Cup Finals are usually pretty upsetting.
Yeah.
To be honest. But for me, I'll take the Cats in 6.
Cats in 6.
Yeah.
There was some conflict in
Yeah,
that.
there's a lot of conflict.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, honestly, I could see the Panthers in 5, 6, or 7.
Mm-hmm.
I could also see the Oilers in 6 or 7.
Yeah.
But I'm going to roll with the Cats.
Yeah, I mean, we're in Gary Bettman's NHL, remember?
Also, I do not want to see my coworker Justin happy.
Hey.
Or my coworker Dan. Fuck the Oilers.
Yeah, amen. Amen, brother. Okay, so we have Florida in 5, Florida in 6, and Florida in 7 as the final predictions from the Stick Talk cast.
Wow, we really just have like variety here, you know? Really just like a mosaic of different thinking hockey minds coming together for the best takes.
After we all picked Florida in the last series too.
Yeah, and
Nice.
Jonesy picked Nashville off vibes. Not
Nashville
letting
off
you forget
vibes.
that.
Nashville off vibes. Oilers off vibes. Kings off vibes.
I'll get you a new mood ring for the next season, dog. I think you need to throw that one out.
Yeah. So that's that. I mean, the finals don't start till Saturday. We got a little bit of a break here till then. I don't know what to do with myself when there's a break, but that's okay. We'll play some Minecraft or something.
Yeah, we will. Honestly, it is so weird.
Yeah.
Like, we delayed recording this podcast. For those of you that don't know, it's Monday at like
Mhm.
6 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
We usually do this Saturday.
Yeah.
There's like 6 days until
Yeah.
we actually like have something else to talk about again.
Yeah.
We can't
Yeah.
even do our regularly scheduled Saturday podcast
No.
because like nothing will have happened.
Yeah, barring any like big news things to talk about, like we probably will be taking a week off next week along with the players. Because yeah, I mean our regular Saturday recording, we will still have not played a Stanley Cup Final game.
No. So we'll take a step back and let the real media personalities handle it for you, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Our only bit of news this week, I mean the Kraken hired Dan Bylsma as their new head coach.
It's meh. A name I didn't think I'd see again.
I mean, yeah, I haven't seen him in a long time. I think his last gig was Buffalo, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously, won cup with Pittsburgh in their early run days with Crosby, and yeah, I mean that'll be interesting. How do you feel about the Kraken? Like, do you think they have a bounce back in them?
Not really.
Yeah,
I think they're just at a loss for identity.
yeah,
I think that they did a good job drafting to
Yep.
make a team playable.
Yeah.
But I think they probably shouldn't have.
yeah. It's such a tough thing as a new team in a new market where you want to build hype and you need to build like that sort of like fan relationship, right? Which means you need an exciting team on the ice. But does that hurt you in the long run where yeah, okay, it was sick, right? They beat Colorado. They got into the second round. They almost went further. But I mean, are they really built to do any damage? I don't think so.
No, I think that they're just a team. You know, there's nothing
Yeah.
remarkable or special about them. They have a bunch of aged, once not even really superstars, but I'd say
Yeah.
good players.
Yeah.
Jordan Eberle, Canadian legend, but I wouldn't say that he's a superstar by NHL standards.
No.
You know, like there's just a plethora of things that are concerning here. What are you doing with Alexiak?
Yeah.
What do you consider him as?
Yeah.
Is that a long-term option for you? I hope not.
No, can't be.
I like Jamie too. Like,
Sure,
don't get me wrong. I
sure.
like a lot of the way these players play. I just don't like them in this makeup.
I agree. And it's a shame too, because like Jay and I, we went down to the Winter Classic this year, which was awesome. Like the vibes down there, the fans have really embraced that team in the city, and the fan base was like, I don't want to like sound like I'm like an a-hole here, but like they seemed like decently knowledgeable. Like they seemed really actually in more than just like, oh, it's something cool to go see in the city. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they weren't just figuring it out. They
Yeah,
knew
like,
hockey.
I saw Will Borgen jerseys. Like, hell yeah, brother. You know what I mean? It's not just like only the big stars and stuff like that, right? People chanting Joey DeCord's name. Like it was an absolute blast. And so like you want to see that momentum continue, but like they need to do something because like I don't know. This current build isn't built to do any damage.
Yeah, and I think that more than anything, they're just afraid.
Yeah.
Because like you always run the risk when you go out and do something big
Yeah.
that it's gonna fail big.
Yeah.
And
of course.
I just think that the Kraken are so focused on making sure that every step is right
Yeah.
that they're starting to end up in a place where not every step is natural.
Yeah, you can't play too safe, right?
And
you just can't.
I mean, like, look, if I drew a straight line in front of you and then told you to walk on that straight line, you probably wouldn't have a problem with it. But
Sure.
if I told you, hey, walk on this straight line and like look at that straight line and make sure that you don't miss that straight line, you have to be right on that line every step.
Right.
Probably gonna have a little bit harder of a time doing it.
For sure.
When
Yeah,
you
that's
put
great.
when you put conscious effort into something,
Mm-hmm.
you'll do it.
Yeah.
And when you put conscious effort into not doing something,
You'll do it.
you'll do it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
It's like you just took up golf. Very common thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
The one thing I won't do here is I won't hit it in the water. Oh, there it goes.
There it goes, right into the water.
Because what was the last thing you thought about? The water.
What do you think about them taking like a home run swing?
I think they do. I think they need that. That's exactly what I'm getting at here.
How you feel about Marner to Seattle?
Yeah. That's the player profile makeup they need for that team. And I think it would be
Haven't thought about that till right now, but I like it.
I didn't either, and I love it. I think that's brilliant, really, because when you think about the Kraken, they're not super tough, but they're tough in the peripheral.
Yeah.
They have enough to keep stars safe, but
For
they
sure.
have no stars to keep safe.
Yeah.
So what are we doing?
That's a good point.
Like if you're spending $5 million on 5 players to
Yeah.
add depth for security, but then you have nothing to secure, it's like,
Yeah.
why are we paying $1 million to keep $10 in a safe?
Yeah, dude, it's like hiring security for a cardboard box.
Exactly.
It's like no one's gonna take it anyways.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
may as well just leave it in Skid Row and let someone sleep on it. Like, fuck.
Yeah, 100%.
It's like Tekashi 6ix9ine paying for security. Nobody wants your autograph, bro. Sit your ass
I
back
mean, he
down.
needed it for a while.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Anyways.
But yeah, I just think this team needs to make some serious swings and actually
Yeah.
believe in themselves and their scouting. And if they don't believe in their scouting, then it's time to shoo.
Yeah.
Do something else.
Yeah. They don't have the luxury of being able to have a safe off season.
Exactly. And I
Yeah.
think that's primarily because they played the good enough game for too long.
For sure.
Where it's safe, we're not going to look stupid.
Yeah.
We're not going to make a bad name for ourselves, and
Yeah.
we're not going to piss off the fans.
Yeah.
Good enough.
And it was, but I think that's gonna burn them. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
agree.
good enough is only good enough for so long,
Yeah,
right? Like,
of course.
how many times can you hit that glass ceiling and not break through before it starts coming down?
Yeah. Well, I think that's about it.
Yeah. Hey, shout out Josh Bloom.
Yeah, your boy.
That's my boy.
Yeah.
He's had a tough season.
Scores a big goal for Saginaw the other night.
I'm going to have a Don Cherry moment here. Let me
Yeah.
tell you something about this boy here, Joshua Bloom.
Yeah.
This kid right here, he went to the ECHL. He played 7 games. He had a tough outing. He got bounced back to the A. The A didn't want him. They sent him back to the battalion. The battalion said, we don't want you either. Sent him over to the Saginaw Spirit.
Yep.
And what happens? 20 seconds left in the game. Bang, boom, pop the cork. Here's the game.
Dang right.
A beautiful ending to
It
a
was-
season who's...
It was beautiful.
this is a guy who's playing. Granted, he's over age in the minors, but
Yeah.
like whatever. He
Yeah.
had a terrible coming out
Yeah.
as far as pro ranks are concerned. They sent him back to do a little bit more work as an overage season,
Yeah.
and he exploded.
Yeah.
Exploded for over a point a game. I think
Yeah.
he was at like 1.33 the last time I looked.
Yep.
It was filthy. So ending on positivity this time.
Yeah, yeah.
Shout out Josh Bloom. Good for you, man. I love to see guys bouncing back like that,
100%.
especially after the hectic season he had.
Yeah. Especially when you've drafted them in Fantrax. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right. That's all for us. As always, I'm your host, Tico. This is my co-host.
I'm yours truly.
And thank you for listening to episode 69. Nice. Keep your head up.
Keep your head up. Boom.
Stick talk. Stick talk. Stick